If your competitors have videos on their website and you don't, there's every chance that they'll win sales and you won't. Yes, videos really are that important. However, are all videos equal? Well, no, not really. The single most important type of video that could help a prospect decide to sign a contract with you is a video testimonial. But if the idea of trying to create a video with your happiest, most satisfied client fills you with dread, this is how you make it a walk in the park. Collecting lots of social proof is one of the most important things that you can do to persuade someone to pick your MSP. Social proof in the form of reviews, testimonials, and case studies influences people at a very deep psychological level. In fact, it talks to us at caveman level, right at the core of what drives our behavior. Let me explain that. 100,000 years ago, we were not at the top of the food chain. There were big, scary monsters with huge jaws and jagged teeth that could and did eat us. And so the cavemen and women who survived to breed and essentially lead on to us today, they were the ones who were better than the others at not being eaten. So we know this today as survival of the fittest and how it drives evolution. But one of the most powerful tools to avoid being eaten is to watch what everyone else is doing and do the same. It's a kind of a herd mentality that you still see today in animals at the bottom of the food chain. So if one sheep runs, all the other sheep in the flock do the same. Now, importantly, they don't think about this. They just feel very strongly compelled to act and copy. It just feels safer that way. So that's what cavemen did back then. And 4,000 generations later, it's what decision makers still do today. So understand this. Most people, most of the time, prefer to do what most other people are doing. And that, in a single sentence, explains why social proof is so powerful. When we see other people and we perceive that they're like us, and they clearly trust a business, it feels safer for us to do exactly the same. And just a side note, by the way, if you're one of the tiny minority who proudly claims, oh, social proof has zero influence on me, then look out for the saber-toothed tigers, because they are watching you closely and they are licking their lips. Now, the most powerful form of social proof is a video testimonial. You get a happy client on camera telling your prospects why they trust your MSP. And you want that, right? I'll be honest, there's a fair amount of work to get it. And of course, you can throw money at the problem to outsource it. There's a couple of services. One I've found is remotevideotestimonials.com. That's not a recommendation, by the way. That's just a suggestion. Or you could use a platform that prompts your clients, like storyprompt.com, which I think is risky for an MSP, as it's so easy for your clients to ignore a platform like that. And let's be honest, you only have dozens of clients to ask, not thousands. Or you can follow my step-by-step instructions and do it yourself. So I've pulled together 10 steps. In fact, I did this a few weeks ago while personally interviewing 16 of my MSP Marketing Edge members about their experience with us. And it was such fun. In fact, we've compiled a series of video testimonials that are now on our website. You can actually see those at mspmarketingedge.com/reviews. But here is how to get your own testimonial video made. Step 1, be very clear what you want to achieve. So the perfect video testimonial is about 30 to 60 seconds long. It tells a story about how someone went from A to B with your help, and it makes the viewer feel happy that they could achieve the same result working with you. Now, never forget that someone hires your MSP because they want a specific outcome. They want ease of growth, extra profit, increased productivity, less staff moaning, all of that kind of stuff. That's the transformation story that you want to tell. The format for your testimonial video should be, first of all, to set the context. So say something like, this is a problem that many business owners face. Then you need to demonstrate relevance. 1 in 4 small business owners will have this IT problem. Then lay out the problem. Tell them what it is. Then poke the pain. You take whatever it is that's annoying that business owner or annoyed them in the past, and you literally poke it. You poke that pain and you show what a pain it was to them. And then you present the answer. And the answer is always something that only an IT professional like you can do. Then, of course, you show a happy outcome. So we've shown in that whole testimonial video a transformation story. Step 2, decide who to ask. For this, you just ask your happy clients. Just be 100% sure they are happy with the service before you ask, because nothing aggravates an unhappy client more than a mistimed testimonial request. Assume around 1 in 5 will say yes, and in the next step, we'll make it easy for them to say no without feeling awkward. By the way, if your personal idea of hell is appearing in someone's video, don't assume that everyone feels that way. Some people, like me, love being in videos and are excited to be asked. Being filmed can be showbiz to some. Step 3. Phone them or send them an email. Now, you know your clients best. Some respond best to a chat on the phone, others prefer information in a written form that they can digest before acting. So here's an actual email that you can swipe and use. The subject line should be, "Can I ask a favor, please?" And then in the body, you say, "Hi name, can I ask you a favor, please?" We're always looking for more clients like you. That's a critical line. We're always looking for more clients like you. I'm going to launch a new marketing campaign soon, and at the heart of it, I'd like my favorite existing clients to tell my future clients why they should join us. How would you feel about telling us how well we've looked after you? Interested? Here's my live calendar. And by the way, if you want to get a written version of that email, we transcribe all of our YouTube videos and all of our podcast episodes, and you can find them at mspmarketingedge.com. Now, step 4, choose a video platform. And please don't do these interviews on Teams or Zoom, because those platforms prioritize the live call at the expense of the recording. You want a platform that works the other way around. It prioritizes the recording at the expense of the live call. Personally, I use Squadcast for these kind of interviews. I actually use that for my podcast interviews as well. An alternative is Riverside. Both of these record the video in quality on each person's computer and automatically upload it to the cloud. Now, I highly recommend you record the video twice. And what I mean by that is while using the platform, you might remote in to run a screen recorder on your client's computer with their permission, of course. And that way, if the cloud recording fails, you can retrieve the backup. And trust me, your client's patience will not extend to doing the same interview twice. Step 5, use this format to make your client feel great. So you know the purpose of the interview is to get the video testimonial, but it's also a great chance to strengthen your bond with your client. So follow this format: banter, interview, banter. And the banter either side of the interview is actually really important. Your client will probably come onto the call with something that they want to talk about, so you give them that time so they can see that you're prioritizing their needs and wants. And remember that the interview itself is kind of unusual and maybe even exciting for them. If they ask lots of questions about it, share with them how you've done it. In fact, feel free to steal my advice here and pass it off as your own. I'm quite happy with that. Step 6, ask these questions. The key to any good interview is to ask open questions and not closed ones. Closed questions have a finite number of answers and they produce boring yes/no answers. Did you have breakfast this morning? It's yes or no, right? Open questions have an infinite number of answers and they produce exciting answers. What was the best thing about your breakfast this morning? Here are some actual questions that can get you started, and don't be a slave to them. Just use them as guidance to help you get the story out of your client. But make sure to listen to their answers and ask relevant follow-up questions. Some of these, by the way, use the technique of asking multiple questions in one go. And that might seem weird, but it actually sets boundaries of what you want your client to talk about. You're guiding them to give relevant answers, and you're also asking questions in a way that encourages them to give self-contained answers. Self-contained answers are answers that make sense without needing to hear the question that was asked. And those make editing the video really easy. My final piece of guidance on questioning is to use silence as a tool. When your client has finished their answer, just stay silent for a few seconds. Some people fill the silence by continuing to talk. Often their second answer is better than their first answer. So don't you be the person to fill the silence. Let them fill the silence. Right, here are the example questions I suggest. Give us the 30-second story about your business. What do you do? How long have you been going? What kind of clients do you work with? Remember how I said you've got multiple questions in one question there? It sets a context of what you want them to talk about. Next question. How important is technology to your business? If your technology didn't work properly, what chaos would that cause? Before you started working with us, what kind of problems did you have with your technology? And how did those problems affect you? And another question. And now those problems have been removed by us. So what kind of difference has that made to you and your staff? Now, this is a good one. What was your biggest fear when considering using us? Did it come true? And if not, what happened instead? And here's another one. What's your favorite part of your experience with our service? And tell us why. And then really my favorite and the final question to suggest to you, if your best friend owned a business and was looking for a new technology partner and you would recommend us, what would you say? Step 7 then is to find an editor. Once you've got good footage, you've done the hard work. Woohoo! Now it's on to the editing where the magic happens. And you'll be tempted to edit this yourself to save yourself a little money. So please rethink that as A, it's another job you'll not get around to doing for weeks, and B, someone who edits for a living is going to do a much better job than you. Good editing is not about the technical aspects of cutting and splicing. It's about the art of telling a story. There are thousands of editors out there. You're looking for one who understands and has edited testimonials before. So look on Upwork or Fiverr and make sure to hire someone with testimonials in their show reel. You can make their life and your life easy by sending them an example of what you'd like your finished video to look like. An hour spent Googling and watching other businesses' testimonial videos will save you hours in the long run. And remember, you could just send them a copy of my testimonial video at mspmarketingedge.com/reviews. And by the way, a smart way to find a great editor is to give the same editing gig to 3 different people. And this way you can compare all of the videos to see which one you prefer. Step 8, what videos to output and where to put them. In an ideal world, you'd have at least 3 individual client testimonials, which you can then turn into 4 videos. So the first video you do is a mashup of all 3 videos, like a 60-90-second summary of how a number of clients feel about your MSP. But again, don't forget to tell a story. Your editor will know how to do that by pulling out clips that take the viewer on a journey. And this video goes on your homepage as high up as you can. The higher up something is on a page, the more likely someone is to see it. This video will influence prospects more than anything else on that page. And then those 3 individual case studies, they go lower down the page. You'd also take those videos and put them on other important pages, especially your About Us page, your pricing page, and your contact page. And if you have other written testimonials, reviews, and case studies, consider gathering them all together into a new page called What Clients Say. Now, no one's going to sit and read all of your social proof, but gathering, like 30, 40 things together in one place sends a very powerful message to prospects. Step 9, maxing your testimonial videos. Once you have those videos, you can make them work hard for you for years to come. Here are some ideas. Share them on LinkedIn. You can pull out new clips from the raw footage to create new content to share. And you could easily use each clip every 2 to 3 months because content on LinkedIn is kind of disposable. You could send your testimonials page to prospects before a meeting. In fact, in his original book, They Ask You Answer, author Marcus Sheridan suggests that you don't take any sales meeting unless the prospect has watched your social proof video first. By the way, Marcus's latest book, Endless Customers, is an excellent read for MSPs. You could start a YouTube channel. Pin the testimonial video to the top to be a channel trailer. My MSP Marketing Edge members get 5 videos a month from us that they can add to their YouTube channel alongside their testimonial videos. You could repurpose your testimonials into written case studies, and these can be given to prospects as part of a proposal. And then these written case studies can go across all the marketing assets that you have. Plus, of course, you can use a screenshot of the client from the video as an image to accompany it. And then finally, step 10, shelf life. If you got this far and you've done all of this, high five, because you now have a powerful marketing asset that most other MSPs will never get round to creating. And that gives you a distinctive advantage over your competitors, right? So make sure you keep the original footage in a very safe place. 18 months from now, you could get a different editor to create new versions for you, or you could use clips from older testimonials in new mashup videos. And in theory, you can use these testimonials for years and years and years, but I would assume a shelf life of around about 3 years. That would be a good time to go back to some new clients and repeat this process again. In fact, if you have the resources, then you could even send in a local videographer, actually physically send them in holding a camera and a microphone to film your client in person. And that would be a huge step up in quality.
Paul Green's MSP Marketing Edge.